She always saw her mother taking money from men, and she wanted to do the same thing. At the age of 15, Tandra started escorting and is still working as an escort to this day. And she's suing her mother for the cost of carpet installation. Defendant Sandra Collins says she was addicted to crack when Tandra was a child, but claims she's been clean for 17 years. Sandra says she's upset by Tandra's profession of choice, and Sandra's countersuing her daughter for unpaid rent.
All rise. This court is now in session. The Honorable Judge Greg Mathis presiding. You may now be seated.
Start with you.
Well, it starts with, I love my mom, okay? I grew up in a good home. Problem is, my mother, she's very rude. She can be very rude, okay? Growing up, I saw my mom taking money from men, okay? And of course, as a kid growing up seeing that, you want your own money.
She wouldn't share any with you?
My mother would buy me things, but of course it wasn't the thing.
She didn't give you any in your hand?
Of course it wasn't.
You wanted it in your hand?
Yes,
like she was getting it?
Yes, of
Crisp?
Yes.
Without her touching it?
No, sir. I
you wanted to do a little pimping then. All right, go ahead.
Well, at 15, I started escorting. My mom was bothered by it, of course, but it was taking care of.
You were getting it in your hand then, I hope.
Yes, sir.
Things a little slow now because it's 800 and you didn't pay your rent. Go ahead.
Well,
go ahead.
well,
it's slow every now and then. Yeah. Vegas, they'll never get slow in Vegas. Where you from?
Amarillo, Texas.
Huh?
Amarillo, Texas.
Oh yeah, you ain't getting no money. But go ahead. I'm sorry. I don't mean to judge your working situation. I don't know whether you're working
fine.
well or not. But go ahead. So what else?
My mother
didn't like it.
No, of course not. She didn't. She decided that when I want to come home, I can come home.
Good.
So me and my ex got into it. She didn't like my ex, of course. My mom's selfish with me. She loves me. I know that. I moved back home. She let me move in her one-bedroom apartment. We went shopping for carpet. Of course, I found the carpet that I wanted.
Okay, before we get to the details of the carpet you're suing her about, let me get some background from you, ma'am.
First off, Judge, I would like to give honor to you in Jesus Christ.
Thank you.
I was a addict for 17 years.
What was your drug of choice?
Crack cocaine. I changed my drug addiction around in 2009. Good. I got myself together, got saved with Christ Jesus. That was the only thing that I had that was wrong, is I was using. When I stopped using, I got myself together. I didn't go to rehab. I moved to a new state, and I started taking care of my mother. I got myself together by just taking care of my mom and working and staying away from people that did do the drugs. So I've been clean now for 17 years, and I love my daughter. I love my daughter unconditionally. She's my only daughter, and I don't like her situation that she's in. I don't like the escorting, but I know that she has to have a job. All I asked her to do is just keep it out of my eyesight. I don't want it around me. Don't bring it around me. I don't want to hear about it. I don't care for her ex at all. He's very abusive. He fights her. He takes the money that she does work for, and it's just not right. Tandra decided in July 2016 that she would move into my apartment. When she moved into the apartment, she decided...
She left her man?
Yes.
And moved to your town?
Yes.
All right. He went to jail?
Yes,
for what?
Sir. My mom called the cops on him and told her where we were in Florida.
But they had to warn him for something.
Yeah.
Not
yes,
just where he was. What did they?
He has a history, bad history of going to jail.
What was he convicted of? You don't know?
To be honest with you, he never really wanted to tell me.
Okay, good enough. All right, and so she moved in with you in 2016.
Yes. She stayed there for a couple of months, and then she moved to the one-bedroom apartment. She decided that she wanted carpet in the apartment, so we went searching for carpet.
All right, now allow me to have her tell me the rest of the carpet story. Go ahead.
It was actually 6 months that I stayed in the apartment. Yes, I did get the carpet. The reason for me getting the carpet is because the floors.
Okay, so why are you suing her, though, about the carpet?
Because we made an agreement for her to give me the money back for the carpet. So
why did you want her to give you the money back? Why was that agreed to?
Because she asked me to stay there so she can get a tenant to move in after I moved out.
Got it. And so you were only going to be there temporarily.
Yes, exactly.
And the carpet was going to be there clearly permanently.
Yes.
So you paid for it up front?
Yes, we went.
And how long after that did you move?
6 months.
There's more Judge Mathis after this.
She called me, and she's like, you know, you're supposed to be paying me today. I said, Ma, I gotta go get the money. I went and got the money, and I gave it to her.
Where were you all at when you gave it to her?
Right next door to each other.
You passed it through the window?
No.
And later,
For the past 21 years, we've been a constant presence in each other's life.
Got it. You say 6, she says 21. What else you want me to know? You just didn't know it was 21.
Exactly. You're good. God.
Time flies when you're having fun, though.
Yeah, well, you're right. I grew up in Detroit, and I'm proud of where I come from. It's a tough city, but there's a lot of love here. And I carry that tough love with me as a judge. And I still keep it real, hearing real cases with real people from my courtroom in Chicago. I'm Judge.
I started escorting. My mom was bothered by it, of course, but it was taken care of.
You're getting it in your hand then, I hope.
Yes, sir.
plaintiff Tandra Atkins is suing her mother, who says she's upset that Tandra is working as an escort.
And when you asked about your money, what has your mom said?
I asked her to at least give me, you know, the same amount that I gave her back.
Mm-hmm. You gave her back for?
For the carpet. I think it was like $260 a month, because I had moved with her. I was living with my mother.
Let's stay with the carpet.
Okay.
You all had an agreement that she would pay for all of the carpet?
No, I paid for everything.
Okay, so why are you suing her regarding the carpet?
Because it's been over 6 months.
Did she agree that she would pay you for the carpet?
No. Why? Well,
okay. Well, if she didn't agree that she... No, you listen.
In.
No, you
Yes,
listen.
sir.
If she never agreed to pay you for the carpet installation, and that's what you're suing her for.
I paid for the carpet.
Pardon me?
I paid for the carpet as well.
What are you suing her for today? Is it associated with the carpet?
For me having to pay for the carpet and her not giving me the money back, that's why.
And she agreed to do that?
Yes, sir.
I just asked you 4 times. I said,
sorry
did she
if I
agree to
didn't
pay you for
explain
the
it right.
carpet? I paid for it myself. Did she agree to pay you back for the carpet? No. She didn't agree to pay. Why are you here suing her? Because I paid for it. She did agree to pay you for
Yes,
the
sir.
carpet. Okay. And the last time you asked for your money, what did she say?
She wasn't giving it to me.
Or did she give you a reason?
That I owe her money for staying in the apartment.
All right. Ma'am, what do you want to tell me about the carpet installation, whether you agreed to pay her for it or reimburse her, and secondly, the unpaid rent you're countersuing for?
I did agree to pay her for carpet after she moved out, if I had attended, okay? Did no one move in the apartment after she moved out, so I'm still yet to have a tenant to pay her back. I have...
You intended to pay once the tenant comes.
Right. If
that was the agreement?
Yes.
And you still intend to pay when the tenant comes?
But it's not up to part for the city for anyone to be able to move in it, sir.
When will it be, and whose fault is that?
Okay. I don't know how long it's going to be before it'll be able to be
And whose responsibility is it?
That's my responsibility.
Okay, so you're not going to pay her money until you meet your responsibility by living up to the city code. Who knows when that's going to be? After you do all that, which might be a year or two, then you got to wait until you get a tenant. Who knows how that process is going to be? So far, she's out of her 800 waiting on you to get your thing together.
But she didn't pay rent while she was in my apartment.
That's your counterclaim, so let's get to that. Tell me, what was the agreement?
The agreement was that she was going to give me $260 a month.
Beginning when?
In July.
Okay. What did happen?
She didn't give me anything.
Not a dime?
Not a dime. And that money was for taxes on the property. She knew that I had to pay taxes on the property if she was going to live in the back. That I am not working, I am disabled, I am yet to get my disability started. So I have here evidence where she was to pay me $260 a month for 4 months.
It's not evidence, this is your calculations. And ma'am, did you agree to pay $260 beginning in July?
Yes, for 6 months I paid.
So you did pay?
Yes, sir.
And you say she did not pay you a dime?
No, sir.
And tell me your form of payment. Would you write a check, money order?
Cash.
All right.
It's my mom.
Remember? All right. Can you remember any of the instances or any of the scenarios?
Yes, I would take it to her house. The houses are right next door to each other.
Okay. Give me one precise scenario.
She called me, and she's like, you know, you're supposed to be paying me today. I said, Ma, I got to go get the money. I went and got the money, and I gave it to her.
Where were you all at when you gave it to her?
Right next door to each other.
You passed it through the window?
No. There's like a field. Her property is really long.
You met in the field?
No. She met me at her door, her back door.
Okay, there you go. She met you at the back door
sir.
And got her money. All right. Give me one other description and scenario of you paying, how it exchanged hands.
It's always been money, cash.
Describe the scene. Where were you? Give me one more scenario.
I was in the one-bedroom apartment. I walked across the field. My mother opened the door, and I gave her her money. Had she called or? No, she didn't call. The only time she calls is tell me good morning. That's it. Okay, so you were taking your own initiative to go by and give her the money. I was responsible for it. Mm-hmm. And so out of your own initiative, you said, let me go pay Mom. No, sir. How did it happen then? No, I left the apartment, walked over there. She opened the door. I gave her her money like I was supposed to. On your own initiative? I have to. It's my mom. If I don't, then I'm not going to have anywhere to stay. All right. And she says that's why you don't have anywhere to stay. Are you still living there? No, I moved. That's why she says you don't have anywhere to stay because you haven't paid her. So what you're saying plays into her allegation, and that is you don't stay there anymore because you didn't pay. Just as you said, if I didn't pay, I wouldn't stay there anymore. And you don't. She says it's because you didn't pay. You got that right? Thank you. Got it right.
Judge Mathis rules on this dispute shortly.
Don't get all upset and start going off on her. In here, she just meant she didn't go off on you when you were referring to her character. She stood there and took it. Yes, sir. Let you talk crazy about her. Then when she got her chance, she talked crazy about you.
And still to come.
And that's really when his personality switched. He became very aggressive, confrontational, and I got very scared. In a past conversation,
he became confrontational.
Confrontational, very aggressive.
Did you remind him that?
Verdict or visit us online at judgemathistv.com.
And I don't like her situation that she's in. I don't like the escorting, but I know that she has to have a job. All I asked her to do is just keep it out of my eyesight. I don't want it around me. Don't bring it around me. I don't want to hear about it.
Plaintiff Tandra Atkins is suing her mother, who says she's upset that Tandra is working as an escort.
So if I have it right, as your mother says, she has not given you a specific time frame in which you will receive your $800 back. And I'm going to conclude that if the time frame is not specific, then it means a reasonable amount of time. So I'm going to grant her her judgment because she has a right to anticipate you might not pay her. You can't even give her a time frame. 800 is your judgment. On the other hand, your mother was very clear, very concise, very specific about you not paying. You gave me some scenarios that sounded confusing and contradictory. So I'm going to grant her her judgment of $1,040. When there's no evidence for me to see, then I have to go with whom I believe. I believe her more than I believe you about the rent based on the testimony of the parties. 800 for you, 1,040 for you. Have a good day.
Thank you. We're going to go home and be mother and daughter. Try to get along.
Still argue. And still love each other, and I still get good morning every day.
I love you, my baby.
No worry, it's gonna work itself out, believe me.
Plaintiff Kim Patterson says he's been dating the defendant off and on since they were teenagers, and recently he stayed with her for 2 months. However, while there, the defendant destroyed all of his property, including his DJ equipment. So he's suing. Defendant Debbie McAllister says Kim has a history of abusing drugs and using women. Debbie insists she never touched Kim's property, and she's countersuing for the cost of a U-Haul and property damages.
Start with you.
Yes, sir. Debbie and I have had history ever since we were teenagers, and she's been evil. She's money-oriented. And I just couldn't take anymore. I mean,
when you say you all have had history,
yes,
what
sir.
is that? You all dated since you were teenagers, or what?
Yes, we did, Your Honor. Yes, we did. I think she was 16.
So you all dated off and on, or consistently?
Mainly off and on.
Okay, so how long did you date consistently?
Maybe 6 years.
All right, 6 years. You had a
Liar.
real. You say what?
He's lying.
All right, what do you say? How many years?
For the past 21 years, we've been a constant presence in each other's life.
Got it. All right. Go ahead, sir. You say 6, she says 21. What else you want me to know? You just didn't know it was 21.
Exactly. You're God.
You were locked down and didn't know it.
Yes, sir.
Time flies when you're having fun, though.
Yeah, well, you're right. That means you were having fun. Time flew. Go ahead. What were the up and downs about? Why were you all back and forth? I mean,
well, Your Honor, it was not all my fault and not all hers either. But
True.
through the years, it's been some crazy things going on.
why'd you all break up finally?
Because I was at her house for 2 months, and my DJ equipment was there. And one night I stayed out because I was DJing at a friend's house.
Liar.
And
Till what time?
Till like 2:30 in the morning.
DJing for your friend?
Yes.
Never came
Female
Yes.
friend?
No.
Not
It
a
was
female
guy.
friend?
It
No
was a guy.
females were there?
No, not at all.
You
other
were being
than-
paid?
Yes.
How many people were there? Just him?
About 6 people.
Let me hear from you, ma'am. I don't blame you. I turn my head to that too. You give me some background, ma'am.
Mr. Patterson has had a history of women, drugs, and lies.
Does he give you better stories than that?
Yes,
ma'am?
he
has given better stories than that.
No, not really. They are
His
pretty
stories
much
are
pretty
like that.
consistent, you know.
Whenever he gets in trouble, those are the type of stories.
Pretty much. Which is why I've walked away so many times in our relationship.
Lies.
That's
But we keep coming
unbelievable.
back. You know what I mean?
I was DJing for my friend. Like it's just him sitting on the couch and you DJing around. Who does till 2:30 a.m.?
Sir.
You sound like he wasn't even dancing. He's just sitting there. Go, boy. Go play that song. Play that. That's my favorite. That's my favorite. Play that over. Till he said, okay, man, I'm just going to go on to bed. No, one more half hour. It's only 2. Yes,
to correct him, he never came home that night. He stayed out, and I texted him and told him wherever he was to stay where he
Truth.
was.
Get out.
And that is the way it
That's
happened.
what that means.
And I feel like this
It
here.
means get out.
Yes,
When
sir.
she said wherever
And
you're
I
at,
did.
stay where you're at,
And I
that
did,
means
Your Honor.
you're getting put out. I don't know whether you know it or not.
It's not that he did. He's not where he's where he is because he has to be, not because he want to be. And I made myself clear. I had clear expectations when he moved into my house: no women, no drugs, and do not steal anything from me, because that has been his history over the years.
More of Judge Mathis in a moment.
This man had a baby by this woman
Yes, I do.
40 plus years ago and has never laid eyes on his son.
That's not my fault.
And that says a lot about who he is and
Where
why we're
was
here
I?
today.
Follow me on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram at Judge Greg.
I've had history ever since we were teenagers, and she's been evil. She's money oriented, and I just couldn't take anymore.
Defendant Debbie McAllister is being sued by her ex-boyfriend, who claims Debbie destroyed all of his property, including his DJ equipment.
He's a crackhead?
Yes, I was.
Okay.
Your Honor, I've been clean for over 9 years.
Good. All
She's
right.
talking out the
Good.
side of her neck.
So,
I'm not looking
he's not
back.
a crackhead, he's a recovering addict.
Yes,
Anybody
okay.
that's attempted rehabilitation, I refer to them as recovering addicts.
Yes, sir.
So I'm glad to hear that.
Sure.
So
you're
am I.
no longer a crack abuser. You're
Exactly.
instead a recovering addict.
And a
Go
woman
ahead.
abuser.
And a what?
Woman abuser, because he uses women, and that was one of the other things that was one of
That's
my
a woman user,
Well,
not necessarily an abuser.
well user.
All right, go ahead.
So he violated because I'm sure he wasn't out with a man, and he stayed out all night. I told him to stay where he was. And
I did.
He's upset because he had to go back to a lifestyle not like mine.
And
the
I like
lifestyle
it.
where he's at.
And I like it.
What does that mean?
Well, not to put her down or their lifestyle down too much, but you're talking about, you know,
He downgraded. Is that what you're saying?
pretty much.
Oh,
And I like
You're
it.
talking about riding a trolley as opposed to, you know,
And I like it.
being out, whatever. So you say.
You do seem to
know,
be a
so I
woman
know.
of class,
She
and you
called-
got pretty
she-
nice jewelry on. You look very successful. I don't know how she looks and what she doing,
Well,
but
see, this is the
does she
thing.
have the class that you have?
Absolutely not. Absolutely
You
not.
don't even
It
know
is
the
what it
woman.
is.
Does she
No,
have the resources that
Absolutely
you
not.
have?
You don't even
No.
know the woman.
I do.
He wouldn't
you
be
don't.
on the trolley
You
if
know
he was
of
still
her,
with
and you
you.
know, don't know
Let
a
me
lot
tell
of
you,
that.
while he's defending her,
Lord.
let me give you some background.
Go ahead.
This man had a baby by this woman
Yes, I do.
40 plus years ago and has never laid eyes on his son.
That's not my fault.
And that says a lot about who he is and
Where
why we're
was
here
I?
today.
Where
Well,
was
it's
I?
not your fault. What do you mean by that?
You answer that.
And
I don't
plus, that's none of
What do
your
you
business.
mean by this? Not
Okay?
your
You
fault.
have nothing to do with my exes, period, miss. Okay? Recognize that, please.
Well, no, sir. You were going after her character. When you open up the door for character, the person is able to respond by making reference to your character. And the reference she's made is that you are a recovering addict, you use women, and you have a child who's 40 and you've never laid eyes on. She's just, don't get all upset and start going
not,
off
Your
on
Honor.
her
I'm
in
not.
here. She just meant she didn't go off on you when you were referring to her character. She stood there and took it,
Yes, sir.
let you talk crazy about her. Then when she got her chance, she talked crazy about you.
No, but you know.
Then we're going to get to the equipment he's suing you for.
Okay.
Why don't we get to that? It's his lawsuit.
Okay.
So you had been out all that night or to 2:30 by your admission, and she told you to get out. And so what happened to your things?
Your Honor, she had them at her house because I had a studio set up in one room of her house.
Mm-hmm.
When she found out that I was with my ex, she got crazy and kept saying, I'm coming to your house and bringing your medication. I'm going to knock on your door. I don't care what she says. And, Your Honor, I have the text right here. And she
Saying
sent me
what?
600. She was saying, I ruined your stuff. You have nothing left. If you still want to come get the pieces, I will take pictures of it. If not, I will dispose of it.
Now, see, that's contradictory because she says, you have nothing left. And then she says, come and get your pieces. That's confusing. I'll send you pictures of how I ruined all your stuff. Then later she says, you have nothing left. If you still want to come get the pieces, you still can. If not, I will dispose of it. That's not making sense. You have nothing left. If you want the pieces, you can. Come and get it. I have ruined all your stuff.
The case continues after this and later on Judge Mathis.
And it was flipped from heat to AC. I says, why'd you put the AC on? He said, I never touched it. He says, oh, so the ghost that doesn't exist did it. He says, I never touched it.
The Holy Ghost.
Could be any ghost.
Real world cases.
This game is weak that you keep giving me.
Real justice.
You stole someone else's headlight? You're just trying to go to jail.
Judge Mathis.
If you're in Chicago and would like to attend a taping of the Judge Mathis Show, call us at 1-866-3-MATHIS. Defendant Debbie McAllister is being sued by her ex-boyfriend, who claims Debbie destroyed all of his property, including his DJ equipment.
Ma'am, you want to explain this? Because it appears
That I never sent those texts. Absolutely not. That's not like me.
Where'd it come from?
I don't.
it's not like you.
I don't know. It's not. It's,
Okay.
They don't
So
even speak
you never
how I
touched
speak.
any of his things?
No, I never touched any of his things.
They're still there?
Okay, what happened was
Okay,
he
you
put a
tell me.
PFA against me.
Go ahead. I'm sorry.
Okay, he put a PFA against me. It was bogus. And when we went down to court, we settled because, and he wrote a note as to everything that was still in my house, and this is a copy of it.
You settled what?
It was, I think, a civil. It went from a PFA to a civil where if we had contact, we couldn't call the police or anything like that. So we both agreed to that and that I would allow him to come into the house and retrieve his property. My attorney told him to write down everything that was there.
Okay.
If you look at this, there's no DJ
She
equipment
did
on it.
Oh, let's see it, please. And did he come and get those things?
He did. And I
So
have a
you
video.
came and picked up these things? Show him, please.
I also
did,
have a
Your Honor.
video.
No, I did not.
And why isn't your DJ equipment listed there?
She hid it. My son went up in the room, and
No,
the whole room
if it was missing, you would have written it down like those other things that are missing.
I did, Your Honor. I have it. Right
No,
here.
on that,
On this.
yeah, did you write that out or not?
Yes, I did.
Okay, so why on that document don't you list your DJ equipment?
Because I have it on the other ones, Your Honor.
Is that other one is for whom? Who is that for?
This is for me. This is all the stuff that I had ordered
yourself?
on Amazon. Yes, sir.
All
It's
right,
like
we're
the
talking about
receipts.
what you said to her. That written document.
Yes,
you
sir.
said these, and did it go through the court? Did the
Yes.
court view this?
Yes.
Yes.
And
Okay, so you prepared it for the court. Let me
Yes,
see
sir.
that. This is what you told the court.
No,
How
sir.
do you explain telling the court that these are the only items she has of yours?
Your Honor, I was under a lot of stress at that point.
Okay,
in time,
stress.
Honestly, she took all of my clothes,
Okay.
my dirty.
How much is your
underwear,
DJ
socks.
equipment worth?
It's at least $3,500.
3,500.
Yes, sir.
All right. You were under stress.
Yes.
And let me tell you the things you did put down. Toothpaste.
Yes, sir.
Razors.
Yes.
Clippers.
Yes.
Movies.
Yes.
Posters.
Yes, sir.
Yet you don't put down equipment, the most important things here. I won't believe anything else you say today, so your claim is dismissed and hers is granted. Have a good day.
You lied the whole time.
I didn't
you know you
lie.
had my equipment, man.
I didn't lie about
You had
anything.
my equipment.
Kim,
And you know you do.
You know what the problem
I want my
is? The
gear.
problem is this. The
problem is
this
you're
is the
grimy.
problem is this.
Talk to the
You
hand.
want me to
Hey,
treat
leave me
you like a
alone,
king,
man.
but you
Leave me
keep
alone.
forgetting who the queen
Don't
is,
even
baby.
speak to me again, ever.
I told you
Long
what
as
it
your
was.
stink lives.
Whatever.
Goodbye.
Plaintiff Eric Tola says he answered the defendant's online ad looking for a roommate. But on the night Eric moved in, they got into an argument because the defendant did not agree with homosexuality, and Eric did not believe in God. Eric says he moved out 2 hours after he moved in, so he's suing to get his security deposit back. Defendant Robert Nazaro says in his online ad he was very clear about the fact that he was looking for a roommate who was a born-again Christian. Robert admits that he and Eric did not see eye to eye on God or creation, but he refuses to return his security deposit because Eric did not give a 30-day notice.
Start with you.
I met Mr. Nazaro through a Craigslist ad on the internet. He was looking for a roommate. I contacted him, and the ad was requesting someone that was a Christian, born-again believer, no drugs, etc. We had an interview early February where I expressed to him, he asked me if I was a Christian. I said, while I was raised that way, I am not a Christian. I do not consider myself a Christian. Everything was okay. We agreed to move in together. I moved in at end of February. I moved in around 8 p.m. where we start to have
Obviously the rent was $750?
Correct. Correct, Your Honor. I moved in around 8 p.m.
Was there a lease, a 1-year lease? Or
No, sir. It was a verbal agreement, month to month.
That means month to month. Okay.
Correct. Around 8:30 to 9 p.m., Robert came into my room and started to talk about homosexuals and how that they were evil. They shouldn't be allowed.
This is the first night?
This is the first night, yes, Your Honor. How they were evil.
Come in your room?
Come into my room, yes.
Talking about homosexuals?
Among other things,
Testing you out. Go ahead. Go ahead.
Yes, Your Honor. He expressed how that they were ruining America, marriage, etc. I became distressed with that. I didn't like that, and I expressed how that it was unfair to say these things about these people and to deny them this right to be able to get married. He then asked me if I believed in God. I said no, I did not believe in God, and that's really when his personality switched. He became very aggressive, confrontational, and I got very scared. In a past conversation,
he became confrontational.
Confrontational, very aggressive.
Did you remind him that that wasn't how Jesus was? Go ahead.
Yes.
You put on your door. What would Jesus do?
Don't go away. More of Judge Mathis is coming up. Plaintiff Eric Tola rented a room in the defendant's home, but says he only lived there for 2 hours because they got into an argument over God and creation.
Sir, you give me some background on this.
I posted an ad on Craigslist for a born-again Christian. I wrote down clearly what I expected. I don't drink, I don't smoke, I'm not gay, been married, divorced a couple of years back, presently out of work.
Why did you divorce? Did you all go to your pastor for counsel?
Yes. I tried very hard, and I tried not to divorce as a matter, you know, which
all right,
scripturally is sound, you know.
Mm-hmm. Go ahead.
And so, you know, it got to the point where I needed to move downstairs and rent out the upstairs of the house. It's a split-level house. There's a full apartment upstairs, about 1,100 square feet. So I placed an ad. In fact, I have the ad with me. Eric answered the ad. I asked him if he met all the requirements on the ad, and he says, well, I missed...
You have them? Let me see what requirements you may have had. He said what?
Mm-hmm. He came out and told me, he says, well, I don't meet one requirement. He says, I'm not 30 years old. I says, well, he said he was like 21 or 22. He just graduated college, got a local job as an engineer. I says, okay. Told me he was a Christian, went to church with his parents when he was younger in Long Island. That was on the phone. Then he came by the house, looked at the house, decided he liked it, you know. So gave me a deposit. He moved in. He had his bags and clothes and stuff. He moved in around 9 o'clock or something, 9:30. We spoke for a while outside his bedroom. I think I did go in it once, but, you know, came back out. We talked about politics. We talked about religion. We talked about science. And I don't want to get into science, you know.
Why?
Why?
Yeah.
Because his view of God as an atheist was kind of blowing me away.
What about other parts of science? He said you had problems with homosexuals in some science and studies. The majority of them now say that that's biological, that you're born that way. So, no, you don't want to talk science, perhaps.
Well, I don't believe that. You're wrong.
Okay, we're not going to deal with all that today. My only point is don't discriminate. I'm pointing my finger at you because that's what you're supposed to do with people who discriminate. Because that's what it sounds like you were doing. What did you say he told you about gays and homosexuals and all the others? Didn't he degrade them and denigrate them? Did you do that?
No.
What did you say?
About homosexuals, I actually don't remember.
Come on, Reverend.
I know.
I guess don't remember is better than a lie. That's right. All right. You're closer to the Lord than you think. All right.
I hope.
Anyhow, $750 for your security deposit. What do you want to tell me about that?
Yes, Your Honor.
You want the money back, obviously. And this was how long was your stay with him?
2 hours.
2 hours. All right. You couldn't take it no more, he put you out.
Well, Your Honor, after he got the conversation and after he asked me if I believed in God and I said no, he began to get very aggressive and confrontational. And it actually worried me because in another conversation, he told me about his ex-wives and how they both had restraining orders against him.
What?
Yes.
For what?
Well, he was arrested for allegedly choking his
Come
ex-wife.
on, man. Tell me that's not true, sir. We just went through all that. And you're talking about what another person would do with their sexual orientation. And you're out here choking your women out. Is that true?
No.
You've never been charged with abusing a woman?
Oh, I've been charged.
Were you ever convicted?
No.
How many times were you charged?
Once.
All right, sir. Go ahead.
And so I called the police and I had them stand by while I moved my things out. That night I slept at my job. I slept under my cubicle. I came back the next day and I wanted to reason with Mr. Nazzaro if I could get my money back or etc. He told me that because I was not a Christian and that I didn't believe in God, that I was not able to live there. So I was out of a house. He closed the door on my face and...
You didn't tell him that, sir?
No.
Stay tuned. The case continues after this.
Real world cases.
This game is weak that you keep giving me.
Real justice.
You stole someone else's headlight? You're just trying to go to jail.
Judge Mathis.
Plaintiff Eric Tola rented a room in the defendant's home, but says he only lived there for 2 hours because they got into an argument over God and creation.
You tell me about the move out.
I went downstairs. It was about 11 o'clock, 12 o'clock. I noticed the furnace kicked on, or the blower, the fan of the blower. And I waited a while. I'm thinking, why did the heat go on at 12 o'clock at night, you know? So I went upstairs, looking at the heat, trying to see what he did to it. It was on 45 degrees. So I opened the flap, and it was flipped from heat to AC. I says, why'd you put the AC on? He said, I never touched it. I says, oh, so the ghost that doesn't exist did it. He says, I never touched it.
The Holy Ghost.
Could be any ghost.
So tell me about the conversation with him moving.
Shortly afterwards, there was a knock on the front door. Police came to the house. I went upstairs. I have a door in my apartment downstairs with a lock. So I went upstairs. The police says, who are you? And I says, I told them who I was. They said, you're the landlord? I says, yes. They says, okay, why don't you go downstairs? Eric called us. My sergeant called us to come by the house and escort him out. I says, why? He says, well, evidently he's afraid of you and he wants to get out of the house. He says, would you go downstairs? So I went downstairs. listening to him taking his stuff out of the house. I knew when he was out of the house. I went back upstairs. The officer was still there. He says, you know, you scared him, and he threatened him and everything else. And I says, listen, I'm 60 years old. I wouldn't threaten him.
Why shouldn't you give him his deposit back, sir, for those 2 hours that he stayed there? You immediately had a disagreement with him regarding religion. By your own admission, you went in there talking to him about religion and homosexuals.
The stipulation with the agreement that he understood from January was the last month's rent, which was as a security deposit, which was going to be used as a last month's rent, provided you give a 30-day notice. So he never really gave me a 30-day notice when he left the house.
Yeah, well, sir, I'm going to conclude that you all would not have been able to live together, and that is called a constructive eviction, meaning had he stayed there, it would have been confrontational, it would have been stressful. You all couldn't live together. Give him his money back and move on. $750 is your judgment, sir. Have a good day.
Mr. Nazaro, I wish you the best. I really didn't want it to come to this. This is why.
Well, you shouldn't have to begin with and said what you said.
I've treated you with nothing but respect.
You've lied to me, and you lied to the judge.
Untrue.